The U.S. government has recently announced new rules that will limit the role of China in the electric vehicle EV industry, one of the fastest growing and most strategic sectors in the global economy. The rules, which are part of the Inflation Reduction Act (IRA) passed by Congress in 2023, aim to boost domestic production of EV batteries and the materials that power them, such as lithium, cobalt, nickel, and graphite. According to the rules, EVs sold in the U.S. will be eligible for a tax credit of up to $7,500 if they meet certain criteria, such as having at least 50% of their battery components sourced from the U.S. or its allies. The rules also require that EVs sold in the U.S. do not contain any battery components or materials from a foreign entity of concern FEOC, which is defined as a foreign entity that poses a national security threat or engages in unfair trade practices. The Treasury Department is expected to release a list of FEOCs by January, when the rules will go into effect. However, many analysts and industry experts believe that China will be the main target of the FEOC designation, given its dominant position in the global EV supply chain. China currently accounts for more than 70% of the world's lithium-ion battery production, and more than 80% of the world's total output of raw materials for advanced batteries, and controls the processing of pretty much all the critical minerals, rare earth, lithium, cobalt, and graphite. China also has a large and growing domestic market for EVs, which is supported by generous subsidies and incentives from the government. The U.S. rules are seen as a response to China's rising influence and competitiveness in the EV industry, which is considered a key driver of innovation, economic growth, and environmental sustainability. The U.S. also wants to protect its national security interests and prevent China from gaining access to sensitive technologies and data related to EVs. However, the U.S. rules also pose significant challenges and risks for both countries and their EV industries. For China, the rules could reduce its market share and profits in the U.S., one of the most lucrative and large markets for EVs. The rules could also force China to diversify its export destinations and invest more in its domestic market. For the U.S., the rules could increase the cost and complexity of sourcing EV materials and components from non-Chinese suppliers, which are often scarce, expensive, or unreliable, as well as lead to it possibly triggering retaliation from China, such as imposing tariffs or restrictions on U.S. exports or investments in China. The U.S.-China economic and trade relationship, which has already been strained by years of disputes and tensions over various issues, could further deteriorate as a result of the new rules. It could also affect other countries and regions that are involved in the global EV supply chain, such as Europe, Japan, South Korea, Australia, and Canada. The new rules are expected to have a significant impact on the future development and direction of the global EV industry, which is undergoing rapid transformation and innovation. It will likely reshape the dynamics and balance of power among the major players in the industry, as well as create new challenges and opportunities for innovation, collaboration, and regulation.